Hello and welcome to another Ukraine war update. If you want to support this channel, please leave a like and comment. Let's get right into it. The first video that recently surfaced online shows a disabled Ukrainian tank in a rather odd position. We can see the vehicle being tilted forward nearly horizontally with its barrel rammed into the ground. Beneath it we can see an also disabled MRAP vehicle. I do not really know what happened here, but from the whole setup it seems the tank hit the reverse, drove onto the MRAP that was behind it and got stuck in the process. The scene has hasty retreat written all over it, and I assume the vehicles got ambushed, perhaps even in a minefield. The first main area where events have been documented on cameras was the Zaporizhia front, especially the area south of Robotyne. Ukrainian forces made advances to the southeast in the direction of Verbov and southwards into the town of Novoprokopivka. Ukrainian forces broke through the Russian defensive lines towards Verbov, but the area is still dynamically contested. A pretty low-resolution drone video shows scenes from the breakthrough of mechanized elements of the Ukrainian 82nd Air Assault Brigade. German-donated Marder infantry fighting vehicles and US-provided strikers took part in the operation. A lot of smoke was deployed to cover what I assume was the dismounting of infantry units who were deployed to establish a foothold in the area. The video clearly shows that the Ukrainian units were operating behind the first main lines of the Russian defense, and the fighting has been intense in this small sector since then. This so-called Surovikin line was named after the former supreme commander of the Russian forces in Ukraine, Sergei Surovikin, who has since been removed from his position. The general is considered to be the architect of the several hundred kilometers long, three-layered defense fortifications. Russian forces constructed the Surovikin line last winter in preparation for the Ukrainian counteroffensive that has been ongoing since June. The defensive lines consist of extensive minefields, tank obstacles referred to as Dragon's Teeth, rifle and anti-tank trenches, as well as bunker installations. The assault, however, did not proceed without losses to Western military equipment. A picture shows a damaged and disabled German infantry fighting vehicle of the Marder type that was left behind by Ukrainian troops. More footage released by Ukraine and Russia shows that Ukrainian troops seem to have at least parts of the Dragon Teeth line under their control. In this clip filmed by a Russian drone, we can see a squad of Ukrainian soldiers moving inside a large trench system right next to the anti-tank wall. The Ukrainian operational approach showcased in this clip shows that they still adhere to their current small unit-sized bite and hold tactics, aiming to make slow but steady progress in the area. The video here depicts a squad of Ukrainian infantry taking positions in a trench line while being covered by a Leopard 2 tank and a Bradley infantry fighting vehicle somewhere in the same region. While this video surfaced online just recently, I cannot confirm the exact date when this footage was taken, since currently there is a mixture of older videos from the beginning of the offensive and recent events. Since this video was released by the 47th Mechanized Brigade, I assume this footage is either from the capture of Robotyne or from recent advances towards Topmak. Besides Verbov, fighting also extended to the town of Novoprokopivka, located just south of Robotyne. Russian released drone footage and a leaked helmet cam video confirmed that Ukrainian troops had entered the northern part of the town. The footage depicts a team of 2 Ukrainian soldiers being outflanked by a lone Russian rifleman who maneuvers behind them and eliminates them from short range. I cannot show the video here, but a full version with commentary is available on my members-only Telegram channel together with other footage I had to cut out of this update. People often told me to start a Patreon, but I think that this is a way better solution. For just $5 a month I can give you access to uncensored video breakdowns and raw footage. Please understand that I have to take at least a little bit, since this means extra work for me, and my average YouTube RPM is only about 29 cents. Of course, this format here on YouTube will stay, but if you can support me there, it could give the channel a huge boost in the future and would help me to create better content for you by buying better software and perhaps even hire some help for video editing, research and so on. Also, I could support soldiers who often ask me for help way better and more discreet. The link is in the description for everyone interested in this. In the area of Topmak, drone footage shows a shot down Russian Su-35 that crashed into a field. According to reports, the plane was shot down by Russian friendly fire when a S-300 surface-to-air missile system engaged the jet. Apparently, Spiderman has also joined the fight in Ukraine just recently. Jokes aside, this is one of those videos that fall under the category of military humor. We can see a Russian soldier firing a disposable rocket launcher from a trench position somewhere in Ukraine while wearing a Spider-Man costume. Contrary to many perceptions, the quite boring periods between fighting can last quite long, and during deployments all over the globe, soldiers from all sorts of armies have done such things out of boredom. This is probably the highest quality drone video of a Ukrainian Mi-24 helicopter conducting one of the many low-level dive-up unguided rocket attacks we have seen so far. Not only can we see the rockets passing by the drone, but we also get to witness their impacts, providing us with some information about the accuracy of these attacks. The dispersion appears to be similar to that of Grad rockets, at least in the area where the rockets land. However, how accurate it is to hit a designated area with such rockets is another question. Speaking of Grads, Russia has released footage of a rocket attack conducted by a single Russian Grad system. As you can later see, the impact served pretty well as comparison for the previous clip. Besides that, this clip does not really show much besides the general problem with most of Russian footage. It is basically produced for Russian state media, and media is based in countries with people in their populations that are sympathetic to Russia. Also, they have a hard time obtaining footage because a lot of their mobilized troops simply have no cameras, and if the reports are true, then the use of phones is often heavily restricted. Special operations forces and more professional units have things like helmet cams, for example, but operational security and the discrepancy between the Russian narrative of a special military operation and the reality of the war in Ukraine makes it harder for Russia to declassify videos. This is one of the reasons we mainly get to see videos of Lancet strikes on mostly disabled and abandoned military vehicles. It simply fits their narrative better. These videos contribute to the tracking of vehicle losses, but do not provide many new insights into this war for the most part. However, this Lancet video stands out as one of the more interesting ones, not because of the footage itself, but because of the background. The video captures a Russian Lancet drone strike on a Ukrainian MiG fighter jet at the Dolzhentsivo air base. The interesting thing here is that this base is located about 70 kilometers behind the front line, which means that this is a new type of Lancet drone with extended range. The heavy use of cheap drones and loitering munitions caused a comeback for already written-off anti-aircraft gun tanks such as the German-made Gepard we can see here. Using Gepards against drones is way more cost-effective than using guided missiles, what makes the vehicle a very important asset for Ukraine's air defense. Here we could witness the vehicle shooting down a Russian drone with its two 35mm cannons in Odessa. While it is basically possible to shoot down especially slower drones with small arms fire like this video shows, it is still a very hard task, as this other example showcases. Often the drones simply slip through the anti-air fire and hit their targets. Systems like the Gepard, on the other hand, have a very high success rate when it comes to shooting down these drones. On the Kherson front, Ukraine struck a Russian T-90M tank with a small, inexpensive FPV drone. In my last update, I already discussed the cost-effectiveness of these drones, and here we see it demonstrated once again in a real-life example. The tank is seen destroyed shortly after. The T-90M is currently Russia's most advanced tank deployed to the front line, so every loss of one means something. The second place where a lot of footage was recorded was the area south of Bakhmut. The small towns of Andriivka and Klishchivka were recently liberated, and as a result, a considerable amount of helmet cam footage from these operations has been released. The video here showcases Ukrainian soldiers from the 80th Air Assault Brigade engaged in combat with Russian forces in the town of Klishchivka. According to the 80th Air Assault Brigade, which released the video, the soldiers were defending their positions against a Russian counterattack that occurred after Ukraine captured the town. We can observe a squad-sized group of Ukrainians engaging non-visible targets in the distance from a semi-fixed defensive position. They employ various types of small arms, including assault rifles, machine guns, and disposable rocket launchers. Judging by the angle at which the soldier holds his rocket launcher, it is plausible that these individuals were part of a support or security element providing fire support for another Ukrainian unit that was the primary target of the Russian assault. The 80th Air Assault Brigade, also known as the 80th Hammerbill Brigade, is a prominent military unit within the Ukrainian ground forces. Established to meet the demands of modern warfare and rapid response to various scenarios, this brigade has played a pivotal role in Ukraine's military landscape. The brigade was founded to serve as an elite and adaptable force capable of swift deployment to address a wide range of military and humanitarian challenges. Its formation is rooted in the need for Ukraine to maintain a highly mobile and responsive military unit in the post-Soviet era. Its soldiers are rigorously trained in air assault and airborne operations, making them capable of conducting missions that range from peacekeeping and disaster relief to combat operations. This versatility positions the brigade as a critical asset for Ukraine's national security. The soldiers of the 80th Air Assault Brigade are known for their dedication and resilience. They have demonstrated unwavering commitment to their duties, even in the face of challenging circumstances. Their training, discipline, and determination are vital elements that contribute to the brigade's success in various missions. If you watched till now, I wanted to say thank you, and I hope this video earned a like. Also, please make sure to leave a comment. This helps the videos to reach more people. After the capture of Andriivka, the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade released helmet cam footage of a clearance operation in the destroyed town. We can see the operation from several helmet cams worn by the soldiers who took part in the battle. The whole video is on the YouTube channel of the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade for everyone interested. Here I also had to cut out parts, but on my Telegram I included them separately in the exclusive footage breakdown I released there. We can see that the town was pretty much entirely destroyed by heavy shelling from both parties. The fighting took place on close range in what was left of the town that got captured in the middle of September 2023. While the terrain offers some cover for infantry-to-infantry engagements, the destruction of buildings makes it very difficult to find shelter from artillery fire and FPV drones. Also, maneuvering through all the rubble with all their gear, including helmets, vests, weapons and ammo, can be quite challenging and cumbersome. There is always the danger of booby traps and mines, and overall the scenes remind of an Eastern European battlefield during World War II. Because of all these factors, the soldiers here have to advance slow and carefully feet by feet in order to clear every position a Russian might could be still in. All this while watching their steps for booby traps and mines. The 3rd Separate Assault Brigade stands as one of the Ukrainian Army's most accomplished units. It originated from an existing Azov territorial defense unit based in Kiev. During the defensive battles in the Northern Command area, the brigade operated at less than full strength. However, by the end of 2022, the brigade had reached its full complement. It now includes 2 assault battalions, 2 mechanized battalions, a tank battalion, an artillery group, and various support elements. The significance of Andriivka lies not in the number of datches it encompasses, but in its strategic location along a minor road to Bakhmut, which Russian forces utilized for resupply purposes. Klishchivka had been a settlement fiercely contested and ultimately left in ruins. The Russian forces couldn't afford to abandon it because the town of Bakhmut lay just ahead. Their persistent attempts to attack Ukrainian soldiers stationed in the southern part of the village left their flanks dangerously exposed. Recognizing this vulnerability, the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade seized the opportunity and launched an assault on the relatively lightly defended Andriivka, located further south. In response, the Russian forces mounted a tank counterattack that lacked support and suffered from poor coordination. This counterattack was effectively repelled by kamikaze drones. Russian tank crews' communication challenges persisted due to inadequate radios, forcing them to resort to Motorola walkie-talkies, inadvertently revealing their locations and intentions. Speaking of tanks, this video shows an alleged tank battle between a Ukrainian and Russian tank in the Cherson region. From the footage, it appears that the Ukrainian tank stealthily approached the Russian tank and disabled it with a close-range shot to the side from its main cannon. While the video just surfaced recently, it can be assumed that this event actually took place last year in September, as others already pointed out. Also, I cannot say for sure if this was a tank battle or if the Ukrainian tank simply blew up an already disabled and abandoned tank, what can also be the case. This kind of strike on the tank was most likely possible due to poor communication and the absence of early warning systems, such as threat detection by a friendly drone, for example. The Russian tank crew is not entirely at fault, as their visibility inside the tank is limited, and safely deploying a tank under the conditions in Ukraine demands a high level of coordination. The original post stated that the Ukrainian tank was a T-64 and the Russian one a T-72B. However, the channel read a fact that is basically tanks only content pointed out that the Russian tank might also could have been a T-90, and I think he could be right. Russia has released footage of a remote-controlled anti-tank guided missile launch. Similar to the Ukrainian Stubna-P, the operator can launch the missile from a safe distance behind cover. This approach makes such positions harder to suppress, and especially in trench warfare, it makes total sense to take that path. The Russian Ministry of Defense also released another video showing Russian anti-tank guided missile teams in action. The systems were utilized in the Kherson region against fixed-point targets across the river. Since the war in Syria, it has been common to use anti-tank guided missiles as sort of sniper against fixed positions. All in all, Russia has released a lot of footage aimed at creating the perception of precision. Here, we witness a Russian missile strike on a loading point of the 38th Separate Marine Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. The target was a military train loaded with Ukrainian military vehicles. On the Donetsk front, Ukrainian FPV drones took out a Russian 2S-1 Gvozdika 122mm self-propelled howitzer that was abandoned by its crew right after the first FPV drone hit. The vehicle continued to move forward while leaving a burning trail until it stopped some time later and was targeted by another FPV drone. The howitzer was destroyed in the process, and the wreck was also showcased. More lucky was this Russian Tor system that seems to have taken a direct hit but managed to get away. It was reported that the SAM system got hit by a high-mobility rocket artillery strike, but I cannot say for sure. The location where this took place has been geolocated to Onivka. If the reports are correct, then Russian troops tried to shoot down this Ukrainian drone with an anti-tank guided missile. The attempt failed. That's it for this Ukraine war update. Thank you very much for watching. It's midnight while I'm editing this video, and today is my birthday. So I'm very grateful to every viewer who has watched this far. It shows me that my work has not been in vain. If you found this upload valuable, please show your appreciation through a like and comment. Also, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell and enable all notifications for this channel. A separate Ukraine footage breakdown is available on my Telegram channel for those who decide to become a member there. There, I can provide you with video breakdowns of footage I cannot show here on YouTube. The link is in the description. It has been quite some time since my last upload. This is mainly because my channel currently faces some problems and I am working on a video explaining all of this. Additionally, I am investing a lot of time in learning to edit videos better so I can provide you with improved content in the future. Thank you very much for your support, and until next time.